So now we will discuss the classification of magnetic material. So this is very important. So we will divide the magnetic material into three kinds. One is one is diamagnetic material. You can see here diamagnetic material, and the other one is paramagnetic material, paramagnetic material, and as well as ferromagnetic material. So diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material, and ferromagnetic material. So these classification will be behaved on the basis of behavior of magnetic materials in the presence of an external magnetic field. So how they will behave here we will discuss. So first we used to think of ferromagnetic materials. So ferromagnetic materials. So when we think of a ferromagnetic material, so we have a domain-like structure. We have a room-like structure. Room-like structures we are having. So in the room-like structures, we have tiny atomic dipoles. Tiny atomic dipoles. So whenever we have tiny atomic dipoles, so they used to align in external field direction. Suppose this is the external field. So by applying the external magnetic field, all the tiny atomic dipoles they try to align in field direction. So in the kind of formation of domains, so we will have the ferromagnetic nature. So here paramagnetic materials we are taking. So the reason is spin motion of electrons. Spin motion of electrons. So generally, while the electrons are habituated to revolve, while the electrons are habituated to revolve of their own axis, so that is nothing but spin motion. So according to the magnetism, generally we will say when the electron is revolving, some amount of current is produced, and that current will ingenerately uh, produce magnetic field. So in such a way, we will understand the paramagnetic material. So the magnetism occurs because of spin motion of electrons. And you need to understood that the magnetic nature that can be understood by the paramagnetic sense is very low. So because the spin motion contribution is very less. And the last one is diamagnetic material. So these show the magnetic nature in opposite direction to the field. So it is contributed by the orbital motion of electrons. So obviously it will shows opposite behavior to the ferromagnetic material. So next we are taking the difference. So that is substance when placed in uniform magnetic field. So when the ferromagnetic substance is placed in uniform magnetic field, so automatically we will see that more number of lines. We will see that more number of lines passes through the medium. So because it will allow us more and more lines of force. So that is so we are saying that strong magnetization in the same direction of the external field. So BME means magnetic field induced, and the total magnetic field present inside the magnet BME. So that is greater than B naught. So that means BM means generally we write B naught plus B induced, B external plus B induced. So as you are having induced magnetic nature, so therefore in the ferromagnetic material, we will see that more number of lines of force pass. So when we think of the paramagnetic material, so the poor magnetization occurs in same direction. So poor magnetization occurs means it is not very much greater than that of B naught as in the case of ferromagnet. So only we will see a few more lines. Suppose here we are having only three. So slightly greater than three, we have the passage of number of lines through the paramagnetic substance. But you can see that in the diamagnetic material, the poor magnetization, we will observe the poor magnetization in opposite direction. So that means the field lines, they try to escape from the body. So that is the nature of diamagnetic materials actually. And the next point is very important, IH curve. IH curve. So before understanding the IH curve, first we need to understand magnetic moment. So here the magnetic moment is very high. Here magnetic moment is very high. So that means all the dipoles, they try to align in field direction. So that's why M is taken as positive. So here we are saying that as M is positive, we know the formula I equivalent to M by V. As M is high, automatically intensity also high. So by applying the external field H, so automatically intensity of magnetization increases. So that means the nature of becoming magnet, the nature of becoming magnet increases. అంటే మనము ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫీల్డ్ లో ఉంచినప్పుడు సోలనాయిడ్ లో ఉంచినప్పుడు అది బాగా మ్యాగ్నెట్ అవుతుంది అని. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ లీనియర్ ప్రపోర్షనాలిటీ, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ గ్రేటర్ దాన్ లీనియర్ ప్రపోర్షనాలిటీ, అంటే బాగా ఎక్కువగా అవుతుంది అని. సో ఇన్ ది కేస్ ఆఫ్ para, let me see, so I is small and positive, so here M is small, so here M is small we are taking, so therefore I is also small. So therefore we will say that I is small, positive varies linearly with respect to field. So when we think of diamagnetic materials, we will say that if this is the external magnetic field, so the dipoles, they try to align in opposite direction. So that's why their magnetic moment is treated as negative. When M is negative, we will see that I is also negative. So you are seeing this only. So this is the negative value of I you are seeing. Negative value of I you are. So after that, we will think of susceptibility and temperature graph. This is very, very important. Susceptibility and temperature graph. And we will see that first we think of the ferromagnetic material. So just now for ferro, the I is very high. As I is very high, the magnetic susceptibility Jm is also very high. So very large, and it is obviously positive value and temperature dependent. Temperature dependent. So let us see how it will depends upon the temperature. So it can be shown by Curie-Weiss law. Curie-Weiss law. Xi is proportional to 1 by T minus Tc. So like rectangular hyperbola graph we are having. So rectangular hyperbola like structures we are having. So that means at the Tc, what happens is at Curie temperature, a ferromagnetic material may be converted as paramagnetic material at Curie temperature. So when we think of paramagnetic materials, Xi is, because just now we studied I is positive, of course, but it is very small. So when I is small, Xi equivalent to I by H we are taking. So obviously Xm is also small, positive, and varies linearly with respect to temperature. So that is called as Curie's law. So what happens is when temperature increases, the disorderedness increases. So whenever the disorderedness increases, the system will lose its magnetic field. And here we will say this is the temperature axis and this is the negative value of Xm. Xm is small, negative, and temperature independent. So that means Xm not exactly proportional to Xm is independent of temperature. Xm is independent of temperature, we will say. And by taking mu r equivalent is generally we will write 1 plus Xi or Xm. Xm means 1. As we are taking Xm is very high, so automatically mu r is greater than 1. Xm is very high, maybe 10 or 20 or 30 like that we are having. So mu r is greater than 1. So mu r means mu by mu naught. So obviously mu is greater than mu naught. Suppose we are taking for paramagnetic material. So here we see that Xi is positive. Xi is small but positive. So slightly greater than 1. So Xim already we have taken slightly greater than 1. So that's why by substituting one value around here, we get 2 is greater than mu r is greater than 1. So in that also we can substitute mu r equal to mu by mu naught. We will get the solution. And here this is the important for diamagnetic material. So just now we have taken that xi is negative, xi equivalent to negative. When we substitute the xi value as a negative, so obviously you are going to get mu r as less than 1. Mu r less than 1. So that only we are seeing here. 1 is more than mu r and mu r is greater than 0. And we are searching for the basic cause. So here we are searching for the basic cause of magnetic nature. So what is the main reason for the magnetic moment of single atom like that we have? So when we think of ferromagnetic materials here, atoms have permanent magnetic moment. Permanent magnetic moment which are organized in domains. So that means, so when we think of a ferromagnetic material, so once if the external field is applied, B naught is applied, slowly these dipoles will try to align in field direction. Once after aligning in field direction, their nature won't be disturbed. So this is the case about ferromagnetic materials. So now we will take the paramagnetic material. So atoms have permanent magnetic moment which are randomly oriented. So because of their randomly orientation, so the net magnetic moment is equivalent to 0. So that means simply the paramagnetic material will behave as magnet. It will behave as magnet until there is external field. Until there is external field. But when we think of ferro, obviously they are permanent magnets. They are permanent magnets. And when we think of dia, atoms do not have any permanent magnetic moment. Atoms do not have any permanent magnetic moment. So like that we are taking.
Okay, sir.
Right. So we are continuing further discussion the comparison between ferro, para, and diamagnetic material. So here we see first we are thinking of ferromagnetic material. So they strongly attract from weaker magnetic field to stronger magnetic field. So that means suppose if the ferromagnetic substance is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, if the ferromagnetic substance is placed in non-uniform magnetic field, so then it will always move from weaker to stronger. Suppose here we are having weaker magnetic field, and here if these lines are crowded here, let us see. So this is stronger magnetic field. So obviously this ferromagnetic substance they used to move in this direction. So you need to remember that the ferromagnetic nature and paramagnetic nature are similar, but we are having with high intensity in ferromagnetic substance and with low intensity in paramagnetic substance. So here also we can see that it moves with weak force from weaker magnetic field to stronger magnetic field. So that means a magnet always interested to be present in magnetic field. So ఎక్కువ magnetic field ఉన్న region లోనే ఉండడానికి try చేస్తుంది. So already we discussed about the dia. It always try to escape. This diamagnetic always try to escape from the field. So therefore it moves from stronger to weaker magnetic field here. So here we can see when we take the magnetic material, ferromagnetic material, in the case of liquid, molten stage. So we will see that more magnetic material is at a stronger field at the near poles. So that means more liquid is accumulated at the poles. అంటే ఎక్కువ ఫీల్డ్ ఉన్న దగ్గరే లిక్విడ్ అనేటువంటి ఉంది. So paramagnetic also weighs the same nature, but we are not having sharp curves as that of ferromagnetic nature. అంటే అంత బాగా అట్రాక్ట్ చేయలేదు, చేస్తుంది పర్లేదు, బట్ అంత బాగా అట్రాక్ట్ చేయలేదు. So when we think of diamagnetic material, you can see that. So obviously it will try to escape from the field. Field లోనే ఉండదు. నార్త్ పోల్ సౌత్ పోల్ దగ్గర అసలు మనకు ఎలాంటి magnetic nature అనేది లేదు. So we will also observe the same case for the strong magnetic field. And this is also important. So when we think of the paramagnetic substance here, so here we can see that the liquid try to accumulate in the field. So here you can see in the diamagnetic material, so the liquid try to escape. So you can see that it was escaping. You can see that it was escaping. So the diamagnetic material is escaping. So in this way, we can understand the difference between ferra, para, and dia. So next, further we are taking. Suppose when we think of ferromagnetic material again, when the rod of material is suspended between the poles of magnet. So whenever a ferromagnetic material is placed, just now we discussed, always the ferromagnetic material always interested to present in the magnetic field. So that's why the rod is aligned in field direction. The rod is aligned in field direction. Let us say this is the field direction. In that direction only, the magnet material is used to align. So when we think of paramagnetic material, we are seeing that if there is a strong magnetic field between the poles, then the rod becomes parallel to the magnetic field. So that means in this case also, the magnetic material try to be in the same direction as that of the field. Next, when we think of diamagnetic materials, here we can see. So it will always try to escape, move away from the field. So that's why it is not remains in the field direction, that is in this direction. So it will lies in perpendicular directions. So that is the basic difference between ferro, para, and dia. So when we think of magnetic moment of substance in the presence of external field. So just now we discussed M is very high, M is very high, and in the direction of external field only. So that's why often we consider M as positive. And here we will see that M is low, but of course M is low. So that means M is small, but positive in the direction of HERA. And here so this is for para, this is for ferro, and this is for dia. So for dia, we will see that if this is the field, so then the magnetic materials used in line opposite direction. So that's why we will take, we have taken this magnetic moment as negative. And we are seeing some examples of ferromagnetic materials also. This is very important. Alnico, iron, cobalt, nickel, and all their alloys are the examples for the ferromagnetic materials. So when we think of the paramagnetic materials, sodium, potassium, magnesium, manganese, strontium, like this, all these things are paramagnetic materials. So when we think of diamagnetic materials, so the bismuth, copper, silver, lead, like this, all these metals are the examples of diamagnetic materials. So we will start the earth magnetism. Generally, in our daily life, we will use the terms north, south, east, west. These are called as this north. North means these are the geographical directions. All these are the geographic directions. So therefore, I'm referring the now onwards. I'm referring the north as geographic north, and general our daily life south as geographic south. So generally, we will say that this is the geographic north pole, and this is the geographic south pole. Geographic north pole, and this is the geographic south pole. So before starting the earth magnetism, first we need to know the definition of meridian. Meridian. So meridian means it is an imaginary plane. It is an imaginary plane which contains two poles. Which contains two poles. It is an imaginary plane which contains two poles. For example, I'm taking a discussion like this. For example, I'm imagining a plane which contains geographic north and geographic south. So automatically this is called as geographic meridian. Geographic meridian. So when we treat the Earth as a big magnet, we will see that. So for the Earth also, we have when we treat the Earth as a big magnet, bar magnet, so definitely it is going to have a south pole and as well as north pole. Suppose now I'm started thinking the Earth as a magnet. Earth as a magnet we are thinking. Suppose here I'm taking the Earth as a big bar magnet. Suppose the Earth as a bar magnet. But we can see that this is the geographic north and geographic south. So from the directive property of magnet, from the directive property of a bar magnet, suppose if we hang a bar magnet, the pole which faces geographic north is called as north pole of the bar magnet, and the pole which faces geographic south is called as south pole of the magnet. అంటే మనము మ్యాగ్నెటిజం డెఫినేషన్ నుంచి ఎలా తీసుకుంటామంటే ఏ పోల్ అయితే జియోగ్రఫిక్ నార్త్ ని చూపిస్తుందో దాన్ని నార్త్ అంటాం, దీన్ని జియోగ్రఫిక్ సౌత్ అంటాం. బట్ ఇక్కడ ఏమంటున్నాము అంటే ఎర్త్ కూడా ఒక బార్ మ్యాగ్నెట్, దానికి కూడా పోల్స్ ఉంటాయి, నార్త్ పోల్ సౌత్ పోల్ అంటున్నాం. ఖచ్చితంగా జియోగ్రఫిక్ నార్త్ పోల్ ఎర్త్ నార్త్ పోల్ కాదు. ఎందుకు కాదు అంటే ఒకవేళ అయితే దీనికి రిపల్షన్ ఉండాలి, అప్పుడు బార్ మ్యాగ్నెట్ అనేటువంటిది డైరెక్షన్ ఉండకూడదు, డీవియేట్ అవ్వాలి. అండ్ వన్ మోర్ థింగ్, జియోగ్రఫిక్ సౌత్ కనుక నిజంగా ఎర్త్ సౌత్ పోల్ అయితే ఈ ఎర్త్ సౌత్ పోల్ రిపల్ అవ్వాలి. సో అలా జరగట్లేదు, అలానే స్టేబుల్ గా ఉంటుంది. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి అంటే, సో వెన్ వి ఇమాజిన్ ది ఎర్త్ యాజ్ ఎ బిగ్ మ్యాగ్నెట్, so it is clear that geographic north is nothing but it is the position of earth south pole, and geographic south is nothing but this is the position of earth north pole. Suppose if we imagine a plane which contains both the poles, so that is known as this is magnetic meridian. So meridian means an imaginary plane, so that contains two poles, that is magnetic south pole and as well as magnetic north pole. So now we will see the angle of declination. So this is angle of declination means this is the angle between magnetic meridian, and geographic meridian. Magnetic meridian and geographic meridian. So actually in the olden days, this is the scenario. Just now we have taken that the geographic meridian and magnetic meridian both coincides with each other. The geographic meridian and magnetic meridian both coincides with each other. Suppose I am taking this is the magnetic meridian, because we are taking that this is the earth south pole location and this is the earth north pole location. Earth magnet south pole location and earth north pole location. So you have to write it very clearly. Yes means earth magnet south pole, and En means earth north pole, earth magnet north pole. And also we have taken, so this is the position is nothing but geographic north and this position is nothing but geographic south. So therefore, I'm taking the at the south pole is nothing but this is geographic north. Geographic north means in our day-to-daily life north, and this is the geographic south. Geographic south means our day-to-day life south. So this will be the situation. So in the olden days, in the olden days, olden days means maybe in Stone Age. Maybe in Stone Age we will see. So the geographic meridian coincides with magnetic meridian with the magnetic meridian in the olden days, because in the Stone Age man never disturbed the magnetic properties of the earth. So whenever he was trying to dig the earth, and whenever he is trying to disturb the mineral composition of the earth, so automatically the poles has been changed. So the poles has been changed. Now we will locate the exact position of the poles. For example, I'm taking this is a meridian. This is a meridian which contains geographic. This is geographic north and geographic south. So we will call this as geographic meridian. Geographic meridian. Here it is. And the scientists they observed that. So with respect to the time, so the poles has been displaced. The poles has been displaced by a large extent, and this will be the this will be the magnetic meridian. This will be the magnetic meridian. Magnetic meridian. So you can see that actually this geographic north has been displaced from the geographic north. This earth south pole is displaced. So the earth north pole also displaced, and finally settled in a way that in this way we have earth south pole, and this is the earth north pole. Now we will understand the angle of declination definition very easily. So this is nothing but the angular separation between geographic and meridian and magnetic meridian. We used to call theta. So that is declination. So here theta is called as magnetic declination. Here theta is called as magnetic declination. But the students has to understand that the most important thing is, of course, in our daily life, we are having around an angle of 11.5 degrees. And the scientists also observed that the line traveling 4 kilometer away for every year, it was moving away from the vertical. The 4 kilometers వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటుందన్నమాట. But the most important thing is while we are doing problems. So while we are doing problems, numerics, while we are doing numerics, we will assume that the declination is equivalent to 0. The declination is equivalent to 0. So that means, again for your clarity, I'm taking. So while you are doing problem, this should be very careful. So this is the geographic north and this is the geographic south. Geographic north is nothing but in our day-to-day life north direction. Geographic south is nothing but in day-to-day life south pole. And we will assume that in the geographic north we have earth south pole. At the geographic south we have earth north pole. So when we think the earth as a bar magnet, so this will be the location of the bar magnet. So that means here the magnetic declination equal to theta equal to 0. So this is the way to solve the problems. Next, after taking this declination, the most important thing is dip. So this is called as magnetic dip. This is magnetic dip, or we will call as true dip, or we will call it as original dip. True dip, or we will call it as original dip. Now we will understand this. For example, I'm taking this is the earth. This is the earth. So on the earth, we are taking that. So this is the geographic north, therefore at the south pole, and this is the geographic south, therefore at the north pole. So from the north pole, the lines of force will originate. From the north poles, the lines of force will originate, and they will end at south pole. They will originate from north pole, and they will end at south pole. Like this, the lines of force will originate. Lines of force will originate. So that means in this direction, also we have lines of force. So in this direction, we have lines of force. For example, I'm imagining a curve here. So maybe in this direction also we have lines of force. Actually, to understand the earth magnetic field beautifully, so we are drawing a tangential line. We are drawing a tangential line to the earth magnetic field. So you have to be very careful that these are earth magnetic lines of force. Earth magnetic lines of force. Lines of force. We studied that when we draw a tangential line to a line of force, it will gives us the direction of magnetic field. It will gives us the direction of magnetic field. So, so here we are taking, this is the B. So for your reference, again I am taking another diagram for the Earth. For example, this is the Earth we are taking, and we are calling this as the Earth South Pole, and this is the Earth North Pole. And just now, we got the magnetic field direction at a location in this way. In this way, in this way we are having. This is the. Now we are assuming a line which connects the Earth South and Earth North. So because this is on the ground we are seeing, on the ground we are drawing the dotted line. So therefore, I am taking this is the horizontal. Horizontal. So in this direction we are taking, this will be the vertical. This will be the vertical. So actually nothing but we are taking the bird view. We are taking the bird view of Earth. Bird view అంటే హెలికాప్టర్ షాట్ అంటాం కదా, అంటే హెలికాప్టర్ షాట్ కొట్టినప్పుడు మనం పైనుంచి ఎలా అయితే గాల్లో నుంచి ఎలా అయితే చూస్తామో అలా చూస్తున్నాం మీకు దాన్ని. So this is the horizontal component, this is vertical component. So now we will see that this is the Earth magnetic field. This is the Earth magnetic field. Now we will understand the true dip. We will understand the true dip. Now the Earth magnetic field makes some angle with the horizontal. So that is called as true dip. So here I'm writing the definition for the true dip. Our original dip is angle made by Earth magnetic field. Angle made by Earth magnetic field with respect to horizontal. Angle made by the Earth magnetic field with respect to horizontal. Angle made by Earth magnetic field with respect to horizontal is known as true dip or original dip delta. So therefore, according to the components, on this side we have B cos delta, and on this side we have B sin delta. So we are naming them as B cos delta equivalent to BH we are taking, and B sin delta equivalent to BV we are taking. So that's why you can see here from the diagram, this is the direction of BH. At the south pole is nothing but geographic north, and this is geographic south. So that's why the BH is always, the BH is always from geographic south to geographic north. That's why the BH is always from geographic south to geographic north. So here I am writing the equation B sin delta equivalent to BV, and B cos delta equivalent to BH. So we are dividing these two equations. We get tan delta equivalent to BV by BH. BV by BH. So this is one of the important relation for the dip. Here I am taking delta is true dip, or we will say original dip, true dip or original dip. So BB is nothing but vertical component of Earth magnetic field. And BH is horizontal component of Earth magnetic field. So in this way, we will understand the exact meaning of it. Now, we will study the apparent dip. Now we will study the apparent. Actually, here we need to be understand that. So to measure the dip, we use a device. Which is called as dip circle. So we have a ring-like structure. So in the ring-like structure, we used to place a compass. So by using that arrangement, we will understand the dip. Okay. So here, so we are taking that. So the dip circle initially along magnetic meridian. So that means in the direction of field itself, we have the compass. So then we know that from the earlier discussion, the true dip is delta. Therefore, tan delta equivalent to BV by BH. We know this. So now you need to understand this. If the dip circle rotated, by an angle theta. Now I'm showing this. So let us take this is the vertical, nothing but BH direction we are taking. This is at the south pole, and this is at the north pole. At the south pole is nothing but geographic north. So in this way we have BH. So initially, where you are estimating the dip delta, initially we are this. But here what happens is suddenly the dip circle is deviated by an angle theta. Suppose we are taking theta, and we can see that the BV is vertically upwards. So you need to be understand that BV is vertically upwards always. BV is vertically upwards always. So that means BV is vertically upwards always. So when BV is vertically upwards always, at this orientation BV is vertically upwards. And when the dip circle also rotated in this orientation also the BV is vertically upwards. But the BH changes as BH dash, and we will call it as BH cos theta. So that means because BV dot is in the form of BV into K cap outwards we are having. It is BV into K cap, it is outwards. Only horizontal component changes. So at this location, I'm taking apparent depth or the dip felt by us. So apparent dip delta dash is, we are writing tan delta dash is equivalent to BV do not changes, but BH changes. So therefore BV by BH dash means we are writing BH into cos theta. So the most important thing is tan delta dash is equivalent to tan delta by cos theta, because BV by BH is cos theta. And this is very important, very popular relation. This is very popular relation. Tan delta dash equal to tan delta by cos theta. Now we will analyze the parameters. So delta means this is true dip or original dip, true dip or original dip. And delta dash is the apparent dip, theta. This is more important. It is angular deviation. So simply, this is angular deviation from mean position. From mean position means like this, from magnetic meridian, from magnetic meridian. Now, relation between, this is very important, true dip and apparent dips. True dip and apparent dip. Actually, we have been focusing on the same old studies, previous study. This is BH, magnetic material, magnetic meridian. So where we will find out the true dip as delta. Now the dip circle, initially the dip circle at an angle theta with the magnetic meridian. Obviously this is magnetic meridian. So at this angle we are taking the apparent dip. Apparent dip is delta 1. This is given. So from the formula, we are writing the from the formula apparent dip tan delta dash equal to tan delta by cos theta. Tan delta dash means tan delta 1 equivalent to tan delta by cos theta. So we are writing this. So this is the case when dip circle turned by theta from magnetic meridian, from magnetic meridian. In the second step, what we are doing to what you are exactly doing is, now the dip circle, now the dip circle turned by, now the dip circle turned by 90 degrees. So actually, the dip circle is in present this location. This location, the dip circle is. Now it was turning by 90 degrees. Turning by 90 degrees. So that means finally the dip circle is going to be in this way, where it makes an angle 90 minus theta. So this is the first position and this is the second position of the dip circle. So here we have in the second position we have apparent dip as delta 2. So therefore again we are taking tan delta dash is equivalent to tan delta by cos theta. And tan delta dash means you are taking the apparent dip as delta 2 equal to tan delta by cos. The theta is the angular deviation from mean. So this is nothing but angular deviation from magnetic meridian. But in the case, let us see, this is the angular deviation from magnetic meridian 90 minus theta. So therefore, this is cos 90 minus theta, or tan delta dash equal to tan delta by 90 theta. By using these two equations and by substituting cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. So finally, we will get cos square delta is equal to cos square delta 1 plus cos square delta 2. So this is the relation between the apparent dips and